So this is a recap of my trip to VinylCon this past weekend. So VinylCon is a relatively new record collectors show in Philadelphia. I started, I think about 2 years ago. I think this is the third or fourth one. They're now doing it twice a year, and it's actually quite good. The It's done at the Armory, the 23rd Street Armory in Center City, Philadelphia. Uh, Nice big old building, good lighting, which you sometimes don't get at a record show, and also sold out. There were, I believe, 75 tables. Uh, I did the early admission, which I tend to do because I'm a crazy collector and because I'm stupid, I guess, because, the stuff I'm looking for could easily be there 2 or 3 hours later, but what the hell? It's only money. So I was there when it opened, and I did take a video with my iPhone, and I was kind of stupid because I didn't do it in landscape. So I don't know how much video content that Pete's going to put up before I'm babbling here, but we'll see. I'll send it over to Pete, and we'll see what he feels is useful. Okay, so I go to these shows with absolutely zero expectations. I've been collecting vinyl since I'm 16 years old. I've got a tremendously large collection. I'm guessing about 6,000 LPs, perhaps more. Who's going to count them? Not me. And I go with zero expectations because I'm looking for the needle in the haystack. I was focusing on progressive rock, psych, fusion, if I could find something that I don't have. I was going out of my way not to buy jazz because I have so much of it. And well, I have so much prog too. But I guess if something extraordinary fell into my lap, I'd certainly consider it. But again, my focus really was on prog. And with that said, I was pleasantly surprised. I actually picked up a couple of heavyweight titles right away, and I'll show you what I've gotten. And what the hell, since I'm recording this already, I'll show you some of the other things I've gotten recently that I've listened to that could be of interest. So this will be a VinylCon review and a little bit of a listening room session. So I was kind of surprised to see this hanging on the wall with one of the dealers. This is the second album by Gracious. This is Gracious, and this is the rarer of the two Gracious albums. It was phenomenal early British prog. Uh, Gracious made two albums for reasons, I guess. Well, and this is actually a Roger Dean cover, but it was kind of funny because the original first self-titled Gracious album was on Vertigo, but this album from 1974, I believe, no, I'm saying 74. It's earlier than that, 71, I think. It kind of sat in the can, and then Phillips wound up, instead of putting it out on Vertigo, they actually put it out on a budget series. They have this international series. So this was hanging on the wall from one of the dealers who I didn't know. And I was kind of shocked. I'm not sure I've ever seen one of these at a record show. And I've been to a lot of record shows. I've seen a lot of rare records. I'm not sure I've ever seen a copy of This Is Gracious out in the wild. I've seen copies and collections, but never one for sale. So this was a big want for me. So I grabbed that, and right next to it, hanging on the wall, another one I'm not sure I've ever seen out in the wild, Hackensack. It's called Up the Hard Way, and this is kind of like a bluesy British hard rock album. Very, very good. I've had the CD for years. Covered by Jim Fitzpatrick. It's got a little bit of a Jack Kirby vibe to it, and it's a cool album. So it was hanging on the wall right next to Gracious, and the two albums were crazy expensive. I'm not going to discuss the price because my wife might see this, but the dealer gave me a very nice discount, so I was quite happy. poking around. Uh, there was lots of interesting prog rock stuff, but a lot of stuff I have. I mean, one dealer had a bunch of Iceberg albums, saw an Anglagard. The which one was it? It was a copy of Epilogue, $250, but I have it, so I don't need two. So leave it for somebody else. What else did I pick up? This is from Cesar Montesano, one of the dealers from the New York area, and some of you might know him on Facebook. This is a prog album, a U.S. prog album. I knew nothing about it. The band is called Random, and it's called Nothing Tricky. No idea. It's from, does it say when it's from? 1977. Never seen it. Cesar, is it any good? Yeah, it's pretty good. Okay, what the hell? It wasn't that expensive. So, you know, roll the dice, take a chance on these things. Uh, then I picked up cool thing. Fantasy was a British prog band, made a great album called Paint a Picture, which came out on Polydor. Great symphonic prog album. If you're a fan of things like Spring and the Gracious album, uh, you'd be a fan of Fantasy. Well, this was their unreleased second album and called Beyond the Beyond. Sat in the can for years, recorded Chipping Norton Studios, 1974. So it was right after Paint a Picture. And also, probably equally as good, uh, Crazy Mellotron album. And this was released on the Colors label. It's been reissued a few times since, but this was the first pressing on the Colors label, which was a short-lived Norwegian label, and they put out some cool stuff on Colors. So that's everything I picked up at the show. One thing, perhaps maybe because I was there on the early side, I was surprised that attendance seemed to be on the low side, and that might be because it was Mother's Day weekend, and so that might not have been a good idea to do. So it's perhaps it got busier later on. I left around lunchtime. There's years past, the show's been like packed, so I would say this was not packed, but I hope the dealers were pleased, and I assume they're going to keep going with the show. We'll see. So I came home to find an album that I bought from a Midwest dealer. This has been on my want list for a long time. Satchidananda, A Thought Away. This is a U.S. progressive jazz rock album. Oh, also, yeah, 1978. It's an album that I've I've never seen one before. So, well, dealer contacted me. They saw it on my want list, on my Discogs want list, and said, "Hey, we got a nice copy in the shop if you're interested." And it was waiting for me when I got back from VinylCon. So have not spun it yet. Um, so now we'll get into some other stuff that's shown up recently. Oh, there goes papers flying. Um, this is some other stuff that this also just showed up the other day, and I mention it because Nicholas from Anecdoten works in a record store, and he was able to get me a copy of Life. This was the record store day release that came out in Sweden. Uh, Kind of like they're calling it the highly acclaimed 1971 masterpiece from the Swedish heavy power trio Life, mastered from the original master tapes. It has new liner notes, rare unseen photos, limited edition, 1,000 copies. Original's very expensive, and haven't spun it yet. This is the English language version. There was also a Swedish version, and very good album. Had it on CD for years, and they tend to do this in Sweden, putting out all kinds of cool old rare stuff for Record Store Day, and this never makes it over here. So, Nick, thank you again. I love you, and I really appreciate you doing this for me. So now I'm going to kind of migrate over to like uh, a listening room session. This is stuff that I've been spinning lately, and stuff that's I think is worthy of attention. So hopefully there's not too much glare from the plastic. John Fumo, After the Fact. This is a very inexpensive album. You could find this on a used copy of this on Discogs, I think for under $10. Recorded, 1986, and it's got Wayne Pete on keyboards, has a great Nels Klein on electric guitar. Um, Fumo plays trumpet, great trumpeter, and this is kind of like avant-garde fusion. Nels Klein kind of killing on this record. Everybody is. So it's yeah. So it's quite good. This is definitely an album. Yeah. Oh, also I should mention, fantastic recording. So I don't know who did the recording, but well, it's recorded out in L.A., mastered by John Golden. Really, really good. This is an album worth tracking down. Cheap, call this one cheap heat for sure. Here's an album I didn't particularly care for, which kind of surprised me. This is Gary Peacock session on ECM, Tales of Another, Keith Jarrett and Jack DeJohnette. I mean, you can't deny the pedigree. The playing is phenomenal. The music is phenomenal, but I got to say, Keith Jarrett's moaning, it wears on you after a while. I just have little tolerance for it anymore. So after a while, it kind of bored me. The playing, as I said, is exceptional. This is a German ECM pressing from 1977. Ah, I I have enough Keith Jarrett, so I would I would rather yeah, I wouldn't I wouldn't waste my money on this one. That's my take on it. You know, here's one that I think is really, really, really good. Uh, this is the new one from Yaz Ahmed. It's called "A Paradise in the Hold." This may actually be available on CD. Yaz Ahmed, she is a female trumpeter. She's from Bahrain, and I believe she's living in London. There's a lot of British jazz musicians on here, and the music has a very strong Middle Eastern influence. But again, it's a jazz album, and it's quite beautiful and great cover, isn't it? Isn't that cool? So I highly recommend Yaz Ahmed. Her previous album was great too. And here's one. This is I got turned on to not that long ago, and this is one that I was completely unfamiliar with. I'm always looking for old jazz rock fusion albums. This is from 1982. This was a Swiss band called Brainstorm, not to be confused with the German power metal band. It's called First Lights. And this is from 1982. And this was a band that they couldn't really decide if they wanted to be a prog rock band or a fusion band. So you get kind of a mix of both, a lot of guitar and violin, and plenty of Fender Rhodes, synthesizers. It starts out a little mellow, but man, it kind of ignites and quite good. This is one Eric Porter would love because I know Eric likes violin. I highly recommend this Brainstorm First Lights. Not an inexpensive album and not so easy to find, but perhaps there's some dealers like in Switzerland who are sitting on copies. Worth seeking. Now, after Pete and I did our ECM overview, um, a lot of people recommended this particular album that I picked up. It's amazing. This particular copy, the cover is kind of grubby, but the vinyl is beautiful. This is Gateway. This is German pressing. This is John Abercrombie, Dave Holland, and Jack DeJohnette. And these guys are wailing. So just extraordinary recording, extraordinary performance. Abercrombie, man, he's killing it. Everybody's great. I just picked up. There's a Gateway 2 that ECM just reissued on vinyl on their Luminescence series, which is a new series that they have. And I figured, well, I'll take the cheap route. Some other stuff that I've got. This is a rare one from Philip Catherine. So Philip Catherine's still around. Great jazz guitarist. He was actually Jan Ackerman's replacement in Focus. And Philippe was he played in Pork Pie for a while. He's all over the place, but he also has a great solo career. He was even in Placebo, and this is a solo album called September Man, and he's got Pelle Mickelborg on trumpet, Jasper Van Hoff on piano and organ, Charlie Mariano is on here on sax and flute. He's got the great rhythm section of John Lee and Jerry Brown. And if I'm not mistaken, Mark Moline, who is the man behind Placebo, produced this album, 1974, wicked fusion album. Really, again, fusion, jazz rock, whatever you want to call it, but this is a great one. Dutch copy. I was very impressed with the new Steven Wilson mix of Pink Floyd at Pompeii. And, as I said in the professor's picks, I used to watch the old VHS tape. I used to sit in my apartment in Forest Hills and watch it over and over, getting baked. Well, I listened to this one pretty straight, and I got to say, I was really impressed. So it has a very near field sound. You're kind of almost like you're in the mix. And Steven did a really beautiful job, and yeah, I'm very impressed. So double album, and there's a Blu-ray and there's the 2 CD set, and it should be in your collection. Another one that is outstanding. I love Tomish Donko. This is the Tomish Donko Quartet, September Night. This was recorded with the Marcin Wasilewski trio. Basically, they were a young Polish jazz trio that he took under his wing, and he toured with them for quite some time. They have their own releases on ECM. So this was recorded in 2004 and sat in the can and didn't get released until last year. Phenomenal recording, and as always with every Stanko album, absolutely extraordinary performance. The quartet is on fire, just sublime music. Stanko, one of the greatest trumpeters that ever lived. If you're a Miles Davis fan, you need to hear this. And some of Stanko's best albums that he recorded for ECM have never made it to vinyl. Suspended Night, Montana. There's a bunch of them that it would be nice if they would see the light of day on vinyl. But as is, September Night is out, and I believe on CD as well. Highly recommended. Let's see what else we got here that I gave a listen to. I was able to get a copy. A friend picked this up for me. This is the record store release of the Strata East Pharaoh Sanders Isifo Zam, My Gifts. This was of the 4 albums that Strata East reissued via Mac Records. This was the one that they reserved for Record Store Day, and I have nothing to compare it to, but I could say that it sounds great. Kevin Gray did a beautiful job. It's from the original master tapes, and everybody's raving about all the Strata East reissues that are coming out now, and rightfully so. This is great. If you like Sarah, some of it's pretty, it's all spiritual. Some of it gets pretty out, but not all of it. And that tune, Prince of Peace, that opens the album, just beautiful stuff. Okay, a couple other things, and then I'm done. I was very impressed with this new Black Sabbath Paranoid that came out through Rhino Hi-Fi. This was exclusive to them. They did a great job with the first Black Sabbath album, self-titled, and that sold out instantly. I believe they went through 5,000 copies of this in one day. I assume they're going to do another pressing. This is, I believe, this is the numbered version. They'll do, just like they did with the first album, they'll do a pressing, an unnumbered pressing. Who gives a shit? So about that, and let's see what we have here. Oh, they came with like an Obi, but they did. It's just fantastic. And again, this was done by, I believe, Kevin Gray did this, or did he? Yeah, Kevin Gray did this one, and it was pressed in Germany at Optimal. Sounds fantastic. They work with the U.S. masters, so I compared it to a German Vertigo, original German Vertigo. I thought that this was better. And the last thing I'll hold up is a little bit of a tease. This is a test pressing I've got. I am putting out on July 25th. I am putting out an album by a new project called Agropelter, which is a guitarist, keyboardist, Kai Olsen, and he has enlisted Jonas Reingold playing bass. Matthias Olsen is playing some percussion and a lot of keyboards, lots of mellotron. There's other musicians on here, drums, there's strings, as I recall. And we're pressing this at Got a Groove out in the Midwest. They are an exemplary pressing plant. Really, really exceptional. Unfortunately, a little pricey, and that will be reflected in the retail price. I could tell you also Jacob Homelupo, White Willow fame, did the mastering and mixing. I should say the other way around, the mixing and the mastering. And Jacob just did an extraordinary job. This sounds absolutely amazing. So I haven't heard a prog rock album. I'm not sure I heard a rock album that sounds this good in a really long time. It's very dynamic, man. There's a lot of bass. Jonas is killing on this thing. This album just kind of jumps out of your speakers, but in a really, really good way. Symphonic prog, all instrumental. July 25th. Well, of course, it's going to be a CD. I have the CD here, and you could all see the beautiful artwork we've got on this thing. It's going to be a wraparound cover on the vinyl as well. And that's it for the listening session and my VinylCon recap. And yes, I need a shave, and we're going to take care of that tomorrow before we record in the prog seat. So I hope this was of enjoyment, and hopefully Pete will be able to cobble this together and make something coherent. And that's it. Till next time. I have lots of plans for other listening room sessions, but I don't have a lot of time. So time permitting, I will do them. So that's what I got. So we'll see you. Take care and goodbye.
Yeah, I think it is. Cool. Thanks a lot, Ken. I don't know. It took 1 year.